is Tyler Bell, Acting Sergeant for the Peel Regional Police Public and Media Relations Bureau. Thank you for joining us here this morning as we deliver the outcome of Project Winner, a significant drug trafficking investigation with significant seizures of ammunition and drugs, led by the 22 Division Community Intervention and Response Team, herein referred to as CERT. Behind me, you'll see Superintendent Navdeep Chinzer, Commanding Officer of 22 Division, Inspector Bob Nagra, as well as members of the CERT team and tactical and rescue units who all played a significant role in the investigation and the seizures you see before us today. Here today, you'll hear from the following speakers: the Honourable Michael Kersner, Solicitor General of the Province of Ontario, His Worship Patrick Brown, Mayor of Brampton, Chief of Police Nishan Duriappa, Deputy Chief Mark Andrews, Community Policing and Operations Command, and Sergeant Wayne Levine of the 22 Division CERT team. I'd also like to acknowledge the following individuals here with us today in attendance: MP Ruby Sahota, Secretary of State for Combating Crime; MPP Sylvia Gualteri, Parliamentary Assistant to the Solicitor General; MPP Rudy Cazzetto; Councillor Dennis Keenan, Wards 3 and 4 of Brampton; Councillor Rods Power of Wards 7 and 8, and Mr. Omar Khan of the Peel Regional Police Services Board. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today and for your ongoing support. Images shown today will be made available to the media at the conclusion of the press conference, as will a detailed media release. Following the update, there will be an opportunity for questions, and we ask that you keep them specific to today's announcements. There's going to be microphones on your left and on your right. As we get to the end, please line up there for questions. So without further ado, I'll turn the podium over to His Honourable Michael Kersner.
Thank you. Well, good morning. It is great to be back here in Peel. And I want to acknowledge again my colleagues from the Ontario Legislature, my parliamentary assistant, the member from Mississauga, East Cooksville, Sylvia Gualtieri, and actually her brother, the member from Mississauga Lakeshore, our MPP Rudy Cazzetto. Thank you, Rudy. Our government, led by Premier Ford, will never stop in prioritizing our public safety across our province. This is a concern to us morning, noon, and night. And we will be tireless, we will be innovative, we will imagine what public safety will look like in the future. And it's actually happening right here today. The Community Intervention and Response Team, which you will hear from in a few minutes, has made through Project Winner a very, very important announcement that we will hear from. Why is this important? And why am I here in Peel? It is because the Government of Ontario acknowledges that when we have police services like Peel Regional Police Service, a flagship service led by one of the finest chiefs anywhere in Canada, we have communities that can feel that their inherent right to live safely will always be fulfilled. The simple inherent right to see their kids off to school in the morning, the simple inherent right to check in on their seniors and loved ones, the right to go to work, to shop and play in the park, and to pray. There is nothing more important than our government, led by Premier Ford, to ensure that in the four corners of our province, we will partner with our municipal, our First Nations, and our OPP police services to ensure that they have the resources, the support, the legislation, the regulations, the expectation, and the tone to do their jobs every day. People in Ontario have had enough of their doors being kicked in at 4 in the morning. They've had enough of violent and repeat offenders on their street. And in response to that, they have turned to one provincial government who, without precedent, has set this tone that is respected all across our country, that our public safety matters. I want to thank Chief Duriappa and the entire team behind me for coming forward with Project Winner, and you will hear the details in a few minutes, and understanding that the grant that they received from our province, the Community Safety and Policing Grant, is paying dividends. We will continue to work collaboratively with our federal government to ensure that the tone that we have set in Ontario is replicated across our country. And that was my message when I was recently in Kananaskis, Alberta, at the federal, provincial, and territorial meetings of the Justice and the Public Safety Ministers. My colleagues and I discussed with our federal ministers, now is the time to make the investments to ensure the simplest of fulfillment of our rights to live safely is top of mind. So with that, I want to thank the Chief for inviting me to attend today. I look forward to hearing from the team, from the CERT team, and I want to state again that there is no modern-day precedent of any provincial government ever that takes public safety more seriously than our government led by Premier Ford. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. And miigwech.
Thank you, Solicitor General Kersner, and thank you all for being here. It's a privilege to have so many busy individuals make time for another announcement. And you will hear lots of announcements from police agencies when we see positive outcomes. And we do believe it's partially the good work that happens behind the scenes 24/7 right across this province and country needs to be acknowledged. But as somebody that's on our police services board often says, it's not what you do, but it's also what you seem to be doing. And part of today is to acknowledge the support that we've got from Minister Michael Kersner, our Solicitor General for the province of Ontario, our MPPs that are with him, our Peel Regional Police Services Board, Mr. Khan, who is here, but also Mayor Brown, who's also part of our board, and MP Savoda. We will be talking about the investigation specifically. You will see Deputy Chief Mark Andrews, who oversees this command element, providing more details. But what I'd like to do is acknowledge the remarkable work. The officers you see behind us are from one of our 4 or 5 divisions. They're from 22 Division, and they're the Community Intervention and Response Team. So they've got 2 functions, community intervention and to respond to some of the pressures that we're seeing. Their work is what we are acknowledging today, which is Project Winner. It's the outcome of a tremendous amount of investigation into drug trafficking network in Brampton that was, as you see before you, resulting in the seizure of $1 million of illicit drugs, which include a range of cocaine, fentanyl, as well as a loaded firearm and approximately 1,000 rounds of ammunition. It is a clear example of when you give us the resources that we require to respond to the pressures that are seen in the community, we can show you outcomes. We have more boots on the ground that are embedded right within our divisions. So let me tell you, this team of 8 officers, you've got their supervisor, who you're going to hear from, Sergeant Labine, later will speak to you, and his staff sergeant, are an example of this. This team are working day shift today. They're responsible for this investigation. Can I tell you, before they came here, they arrested 2 individuals for 2 stolen cars at the start of their shift, and now they're here. It is an example of what these teams can do. So the community intervention and response teams are above and beyond our day-to-day patrol officers. They are teams that we piloted previously in 1 division. We now have them embedded right across this region. They are both a visible, agile, and flexible set of individuals that can descend upon issues that are making communities vulnerable. All too often we know not just auto theft, drug trafficking, problem neighborhoods. We have communities that know of either individuals, geographic locations that continue to provide harm and cause harm in our community. We historically have had a very difficult time expecting our day-to-day patrol officers and responding officers, our special teams, to get to all of these concerns in communities. But the advent of our CERT teams, which is the acronym, is a powerful, powerful tool in our community that is versatile and allows us the ability to respond to this. Today's investigation is as a response of the community coming to us to tell us of the issues that they're seeing and our ability to respond to it. With the right tools, right training, the right officers who are behind us, we're seeing safer streets, fewer drugs, fewer guns in our neighborhoods. Again, it's what's possible when we have the right resources. Project Winner emphasizes the same truth, that visibility matters and presence matters. These individuals in the summer are seen in versatile ways, whether they're on bikes in neighborhoods. They allow us to respond to other pressures, such as with our community agencies and partners in responding to encampments, major protests, all the things you see in a population of 1.8 million. So every time we stop the flow of crime, illegal guns, individuals that are causing harm, we make this community safer. I can tell you this, and our Police Services Board has been a strong supporter of this. Police presence isn't just a strategy. It's a necessity in our community, and allows us to make sure that we connect with our communities to respond appropriately. Organized crime, the violence that fuels the things that we see in the news and media, whether it be mental health or addictions that are all conflated with crime sometimes, require unique response. Our people, training, and strategy are the way for us to do that. I want to acknowledge that this would not be possible. We would not have been able to extend this initiative right across our region in all 4 divisions, patrol divisions, with CERT teams in each area, with over 120 officers collectively, if it wasn't for the support of the Government of Ontario through the Community Safety Policing Grant, which had localized priorities. It has also allowed us to support our Safe Center appeal, our intimate partner violence, mental health addiction strategies, and sir, we appreciate your support in every possible way. Again, thanks to our Police Services Board, our elected officials for allowing us to put the pressure on those areas that cause the most vulnerability in our communities. I'm now going to turn it over to Deputy Chief Mark Andrews. We've got 2 Marks here. This is the better looking one, I'm going to say. Mark Andrews that's here with us. He oversees all of our frontline policing operations, the 1,800 officers, including the airport division, and has oversight on the CERT initiative. Mark, please welcome.
Thank you, Chief. Can't believe you thought I was Mark DePat. Thank you, and good morning. First off, I'd like to congratulate all the members of the 22 Division Community Intervention and Response Team on their outstanding work and the incredible results of that work. Acting on a crucial tip from the community, our officers identified a Toronto resident involved in multiple drug dealing transactions, operating almost exclusively in the region of Peel. What followed was an intelligence-driven investigation, culminating in the execution of several search warrants that led to the seizure of illicit drugs valued in excess of $1 million, along with a loaded illegal firearm. This investigation demonstrates the true strength of community-first policing. The Chief spoke around the fact that responsiveness and presence are key factors in everything we do on the front line. Being responsive to our community and being engaged with our community. That's what led to the success in this particular investigation, but leads to the success, some of which I'll share with you as we move forward, of the CERT team. Their ability to be present and their ability to be responsive to community needs. When community members and police work together, we can dismantle threats, protect lives, and build a safer community for everyone. This investigation is one of several impactful initiatives led by CERT, which has expanded across all divisions within our service. As the Chief said, we currently have 120 officers that are equally divided at 30 per division across our 4 front-facing public divisions, 2 in Brampton, 2 in Mississauga. In addition to Project Winner, CERT teams have led multiple targeted operations and community safety initiatives this year, resulting in more than 1,000 arrests, 2,000 plus charges, and over $2.5 million in property and cash seized. With a stronger presence and deeper community connections, our officers are making a real difference across our communities. And this is just the beginning. We'll continue to be proactive and responsive, disrupting crime, supporting vulnerable communities, and building safer and more resilient communities across the region. I will now ask Sergeant Wayne Levine to share an overview of the investigative work behind this project.
Thank you, Deputy Chief Andrews. Good morning. I'm Sergeant Wayne Levine with the 22 Division Community Intervention Response Team. To give you a bit of background about CERT, we're a proactive unit. We spend a lot of time out in the community talking with residents, business owners, and local organizations. Those conversations help us understand what's really going on in our neighborhoods and where we can really make a difference. A big part of what we do is building trust. When people know us and feel comfortable reaching out, we're able to get valuable information about issues that otherwise wouldn't have come to our attention. Back in September 2025, through some of these community connections, our team learned about possible drug trafficking occurring within the region of Peel. 22 CERT commenced a community safety project named Project Winner, a drug trafficking investigation into the accused Louis Aloysius. The accused is a resident of Toronto. However, through various investigative methods, we determined he was conducting numerous drug transactions within our communities. On October 31st, 2025, police sought and were granted a Controlled Drug and Substances Act search warrant for 2 addresses in Toronto. Through those search warrants, 22 CERT seized approximately 13 kilograms of illicit drugs, including cocaine, fentanyl, and methamphetamines, with an estimated street value of over $1 million. Furthermore, a Glock 19 handgun, as well as an extended magazine and over 1,000 rounds of ammunition were also seized. As a result, 29-year-old Louis Aloysius was charged with 6 firearms offenses and 5 trafficking offenses, for a total of 11 charges. At the time of the arrest, the accused was on a 10-year weapons prohibition and is still in custody at this time. I would like to thank and extend our deep appreciation to our community partners for helping us with this investigation. 22 CERT is very proud of this seizure because it directly reduces the harm that affects our communities, from overdoses and addiction to violence and crime that often come with drug trafficking. Ultimately, we believe the drug seized in this investigation would have wound up on the streets of the region of Peel, and we believe this arrest and these seizures will have a significant and positive impact on our communities. That is all the information I have on Project Winner at this time, as the investigation is still ongoing. I would now like to hand things back over to our moderator. Thank you.
Thank you. And to provide additional remarks today, please welcome His Worship, Mayor of the City of Brampton, Patrick Brown.
Thank you. Another great day for public safety in Peel Region. Let me start off by thanking Chief Nish and his team. When Chief Nish has the resources to do his job, the results speak for themselves, and it's a win for public safety. And to his team with the Peel Regional Police, we have the best of the best, and you see that with the team behind this investigation. You know, they confront danger when everyone else would run away, and as a community, we have a debt of gratitude for their courage and their dedication to public safety. I'd also be remiss not to thank the provincial government, who have been a terrific partner for supporting frontline law enforcement, and this support for the CERT teams has paid dividends. So, Minister Kersner, we see you often in Peel Region. Thank you to your and Premier Ford's friendship and support of the Peel Regional Police. Through this operation, it involved the meticulous investigation, intelligence gathering, and partnership. It underscores what can be achieved when our police and our community work hand in hand. Through this operation, Peel Police have taken more than 1 million worth of dangerous drugs off our streets, including crystal meth, cocaine, fentanyl, and other highly addictive substances that destroy lives and families. They've also seized, as was mentioned, a loaded handgun with an extended magazine of over 1,000 rounds of ammunition. Let's be clear, this is not just about drugs or guns, it's about saving lives. That's the consequence of this operation. Every gram of fentanyl taken out of circulation represents a potential overdose prevented. Fentanyl is a killer in our community. Every illegal gun seized is a tragedy that never happens. And so, you know, when I was reading the briefing notes on the success of Project Winner, really, it's not just about the drugs and guns that are taken off the street, but it's a message to these scumbags that peddle dangerous, highly addictive narcotics on our community, that in Peel Region, they will be caught, they will be charged, they will be prosecuted and face the consequences of our justice system. And that's important, with the resources that this team has. Those that think they can prey on the most vulnerable are not going to be able to. And hopefully this is a very clear message to those that profit off the most vulnerable, that it's not something that will be tolerated in Peel Region. This kind of success does not happen in isolation. It comes from trust and cooperation between our residents, our police service, and our local leadership. I want to commend in particular the 22 Division Community Intervention Response Team for their commitment to proactive policing, something that Chief Nish talks a fair bit about. And the members of our community who've had the courage to come forward with information that helped make this possible. In Brampton and across Peel, we remain united in our commitment to public safety. You can have everything in a community, but if you don't have that sense of security, it's all for naught. And we will continue to support the Peel Police as they work to get illegal drugs and firearms off our streets and hold those who traffic them accountable. To the officers who dedicate their lives to keeping our city safe and our region safe, thank you for your service, your professionalism, and your courage. Together, we are making Brampton and Peel Region safer for everyone. Thank you.
All of these drugs, do we know where they came from? Did they come from over the border? And, was this guy working alone or more arrests expected?
So as for the origin of the drugs, like I said, the investigation is still ongoing. We're still looking into that. We can follow up at a later time of where exactly the origin is from once we determine everything. And sorry, what was the second part of your question there?
Are more arrests expected?
So at this time, like I said, the investigation is still ongoing, but we're not looking at any more arrests at this time.
Yeah, thinking, first of all, we understand people's apprehension of coming forward, because there's always a question of, is this going to put myself at risk, or is it going to create a worse environment for me? But when we think about what they're actually doing, is they're contributing to our ability to stop the substantive problem. And so the simple question is, the simple statement is, yes, we want people to come forward. I can assure them that we have multiple mechanisms to protect the information that comes to them. People can do it anonymously, online, they can call, they can even engage officers in the community. And we go to great extents to protect the integrity of that. Our court system has gone as far as ensuring that certain vehicles of providing information to us are protected in court. So there are lots of checks and balances in that space. I think what the community needs to know, whether it be community-based problems, you and I have chatted about extortions, we need people to come forward. We can assure you that here in Peel Region, we are strongly equipped to respond and mitigate and stop these issues. But we can't do it unless we have the information. So there's another part to it, is the engagement that Sergeant Levine has been talking about, is we have the ability to provide confidence to people. If they want to talk to us first about it, we can press into that space and make sure that they're assured that we will act on the information, but also look after the people coming forward. So this is a very sort of a complicated set of patterns to explain. Yes, we know that opioids have been imported, but the more recent, in the last 5-10 years, has been the advent of synthetic opioids, which we know can either, some elements can come from overseas, but some can be generated right here in North American soil. And so that has been the focus, and as you would duly note, from not just the federal level, but in our U.S. counterparts, and even from the province, to ensure that we find ways to prevent either the production, the importation, or the transfer of these drugs in and across our borders. So yes, it's an ecosystem. There are national initiatives to prevent the flow or the advent of the manufacturing of synthetic opioids here. But here we're a municipal police agency. We have localized efforts to stop the open, or as you call it, open trafficking of it, and this is a perfect example of it. But we are deeply connected with provincial initiatives, federal initiatives, We have Peel police officers embedded at every level, and it's not unique to us. All the large and major urban police agencies are doing the same. I can tell you that we've probably never seen a stronger network of response from law enforcement, government-related agencies, and resourcing than we have now. I think people have responded to it quite appropriately, and this is part of the ecosystem, right? We're seeing street-level activity being stopped, but we're doing it at every other level as well.
Thanks, Nitin. Over here to the left.
Yes, my name is Shazia Malik and I'm from Radio 770 AM. Sir, the police are doing a very good job, but how confident you are? Like, Chief Andrew said that in the last few months, a lot of convicts have been, caught. So you get hold of the convicts, you get hold of the criminals, and then the whole case goes to the court. So how confident you are that all the brilliant work that the police does, that these convicts, they stay inside the jails and they are not really given bail because they are roaming about very freely on our streets. So that is the source of concern of the community, that they are not really annoyed with police. Police is doing its job, but these people are not really inside the jails. They should be there. So after that, I'm going to ask the follow-up question.
Sure, I may invite Solicitor General Kersner to follow on with this, but from a law enforcement and policing side, we're absolutely confident in our abilities to investigate, arrest, and present the individuals responsible into the court system. We have a strong relationship with our Crown attorneys. I can say here in Peel, we have a remarkable relationship, and it is seen as part of the the intake into the justice system. One thing that's happened at a policing level is right across this province in Canada, we've been strong partners with the provincial and federal government in seeking opportunities to enhance where there are gaps, perhaps, in the system. And we see ourselves as ones that experience it on a day-to-day basis. The officers do see it all the time. And we have seen a great response at multiple levels where it comes to bail, repeat violent offenders, recommendations. The enhancements are a step in the right direction. We're seeing that happen at both levels of government. But, listen, everything can use resourcing. And if you look at all systems in our community, they all require resourcing and attention. And I can say that in my 30 years, I haven't seen as much change as has occurred recently for systems like bail, sentencing, considerations from the judiciary and crowns, and also tools for policing as I have in the last several years. So it is moving that way, but perhaps the Solicitor General can top up.
Well, thank you, Chief. And I think Premier Ford's been very clear. Premier Ford has led the charge across the country with the other First Ministers that the federal government has an excellent opportunity now to move forward with meaningful bail reform. We are encouraged with the steps that they have taken. And I believe that they have seen what we have done in Ontario by being a tough on crime government that will not accept the status quo, as I said in my remarks, that a person's door should be knocked in at 4 in the morning and a person should be held at gunpoint to turn over the keys. We saw yesterday in York Region that they made an arrest on somebody that caused life-changing moments to a wonderful family. We're not going to stop. We're encouraged that the federal government has tabled a piece of legislation, and we will continue to advocate for additional bail reform as time goes on. But I agree with you. We have to make sure that if somebody breaks the law, there's only one place for them, and that's behind bars, and that's in jail.
So that'll conclude the formal press conference for today, a copy of which will be uploaded to the Peel Police YouTube channel in its entirety at the conclusion in a few short hours. Thank you to everyone for being here. Congratulations to the team, and stay safe.
Thank you very much, Mayor Brown, for talking to us. What do you have to say about this project winner?
Well, great day for public safety, exceptional work, meticulous investigative work by the Peel Regional Police, the 22 Division CERT team, where they've been able to take $1 million of dangerous narcotics off the streets. Things like fentanyl, take lives. They're a killer in our community. And drugs like that are so highly addictive are now being taken off the streets. Those that peddled them being arrested and prosecuted. It's great news. So proud of the Peel Police for their work.
Thank you very much for your comment.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gazzetto, for talking to us. So this huge, big, drug that was to enter the market, and it has been already seized by the police. What do you have to say about this brilliant work that the police has done?
Well, you know what? Without our police, we wouldn't be able to do that. But this is when you have the government funding our police, because these men and women that go out there on the street every day need funding so they can stop this happening in our community. $1 million worth of drugs taken off our street, illegal handguns, and other things as well. This is unbelievable, and that's why I agree with supporting the police, and I've always agreed with supporting our Peel Regional Police.
Thank you very much for your comment.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief Nish, for talking to us. This is a brilliant job that the police has done, and over the past few years, we have seen that the police has put their, blood and, soul into these things and these operations, and they have been just trying very, very hard to pick these criminals and clean our streets and communities. However, when the cases go in courts, these people are given bails, they are back in the community. So don't you feel discouraged that the great work of the police just gets wasted just like that?
Yes, I can tell you that our officers get very discouraged to not see those that are causing the greatest harm held accountable, especially when they're violent offenders with firearms and drugs. It is all interwoven together. So we have been stronger in our voice, and I think you can see that. I think both the provincial and federal governments have really been trying to focus on how to make the changes. It doesn't all seem to happen at once, but each step is better and better. And I think you will all have to agree, we've never seen the focus on violent repeat offenders and bail as great as it has been in this last year or two. So to me, that's a positive step, but I don't think it's finished yet.
So about this great work that is done and all these huge, this drug cache that was caught by police, and you prevented it from going in the market because children especially are very, very vulnerable to these drugs. How is the feeling? What do you have to say about this?
I'm proud of them and the work they do. And part of this is to showcase to the community that these things are happening right in every Mississauga, Brampton, all throughout every day, 24/7. And so we need to make sure the public knows that there are outcomes to their concerns, and we will continue to do that. These officers are going to leave here, go right now, and finish their shift. They arrested 2 people in stolen cars this morning, and they're going to continue going that. So the public needs to know that they're good people doing great work, and we're thankful for the support today.
Thank you very much for your
Thank you so much. Nice to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister, for talking to us. It's a great day for Peel, and police, definitely, we don't have any complaints. They always are doing great work. However, the problem with the courts is that courts do not have enough lawyers. They do not have enough judges. And that is why all this great work that the police does, because of lack of the lawyers and the judges in the court system, they are always back in the community. So this is something very, very discouraging. How at the provincial and the federal level, I mean, I'm sure you must be talking to the federal partners as well, this work is being tackled?
Well, firstly, our government, led by Premier Ford, has made a record investments in the courts, over $40 million in the last year, in addition, that has allowed us to hire more judges and more Crown prosecutors. But I'll tell you something, it goes back to the tone that a government needs to set on public safety. And that's why I've said that not only is our government tough on crime, but we have no other modern day precedent that any government, whether it's federal, whether it's another province, that has taken public safety more seriously than our government. And we do it by our legislation, our regulations, our expectation, and our tone. And lastly, by the investments that we made in grants that help bring Project Winner today to fruition.
Okay, Minister, one very important question is that in the previous years, some of the policing funds were cut down. And people think, community thinks that maybe because of this, these problems have, spiraled out of control. So do you think that way also? Because I know that Ford government has invested a lot, but previously a lot of funds were cut. So do you think that because of this, the problem has enhanced and you are now you are controlling it?
Well, what I can tell you is that we're very grateful to the Region of Peel, who continuously funds Peel Regional Police Service in a way that is recognized as a flagship in Ontario. But just look at what the chief said today with how many new police officers they're bringing to be part of the service. Over 300. And I'll tell you how that happened as well. It's because our government made an investment of over $42 million so that every constable or recruit that comes from Peel that goes to the Ontario Police College, we wiped out the fees there, the basic constable training fees. That's $17,000 per individual. That's where you get the $42 million because we're putting through $2,500 a year. It meant that when Mayor Brown called me a year ago and said, we need more spaces at the college because our recruitment is coming up, I said, we have the spaces for you. We've made the investments at the Ontario Police College. It's paying dividends all across the province because when I became minister 3.5 years ago, we had annualized 1,200 new police officers coming to police services every year. Now our numbers are over 2,500. That's a lot of extra police officers in the community to keep Ontario safe.
So the police now has enough funds, you mean to say?
No, what I'm saying is the funding for this police service is funded by the Region of Peel. They approve the budget. What the Ontario government does in addition is to provide grants and investments to the police service, and specifically the Community Safety and Policing grant that we give to Peel Regional Police Service. Part of that grant helped fund the team that actually made the announcement by getting these drugs and these guns off our street, and we're really proud of them.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Pleasure to meet you.
Ruby ji, thank you very much for talking to us. ਮੇਰਾ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਚੀਫ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਇਹੀ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਤੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਕੜਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲਸ ਨੇ ਇਨ ਆਵਰ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਇਹ ਕੋਰਟਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਲਾਇਰਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਨੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਯਾਨੀ ਕਿ ਕਰਾਊਨ ਲਾਇਰਸ ਔਰ ਜੱਜਸ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਨੇ, ਤੇ ਇਸ ਦੀ ਵਜ੍ਹਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹ ਕੇਸਿਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਲ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਂਦੀ, ਉਹ ਬਾਹਰ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਔਰ ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਕੇ ਉਹੀ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਮਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਫਿਰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਪਕੜਦੀ ਹੈ, ਫਿਰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਂਦੀ, ਔਰ ਇਹ ਸਰਕਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਾ ਇਹ ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਚੱਲਦਾ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ। ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੈਵਲ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ, ਹੁਣ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਲੈਵਲ ਤੇ ਪੁੱਛ ਰਹੀ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਔਰ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਲੈਵਲ ਤੇ ਕੀ ਡਿਸਕਸ਼ਨ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਸਿਲਸਿਲੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਵੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜੇਲ੍ਹ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਜਾਏ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਲਸ ਨਾ ਮਿਲਣ, ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲਸ ਨੇ, ਔਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਵੇ ਫੰਡਿੰਗ ਵਧਾਈ ਜਾਏ, ਕੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਏ?
Yes. So ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਰਿਪੀਟ ਵਾਇਲੈਂਟ ਅਫੈਂਡਰਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਲਈ ਜੋ ਲੈਜਿਸਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ C14 ਹਾਊਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, it addresses that issue. It also addresses the issue of ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਵਾਇਲੈਂਟ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਮਸ ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਵੀ ਉਹਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੈਂਟੈਂਸ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਹੋਰ ਸਖਤ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਵੇ। ਸੋ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਕੁਝ 11 ਚਾਰਜਸ ਇਸ ਇੰਡੀਵਿਜੂਅਲ ਤੇ ਲੱਗੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਸਾਡੀ ਨਵੇਂ ਬਿੱਲ ਦੇ ਥੱਲੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ 11 ਚਾਰਜਸ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਹਦੀਆਂ ਅਲੱਗ-ਅਲੱਗ ਸੈਂਟੈਂਸਿਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਤੇ ਜੱਜਸ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂਡੇਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ that they look at giving them one sentence after the other so that ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੈਂਟੈਂਸ ਲੰਬੀ ਹੋਵੇ, ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਲੰਬੀ ਹੋਵੇ, so that they're not back out onto the street to commit other crimes. Repeat offenders ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬੈਕਗਰਾਉਂਡ ਆ ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਰਿਕੁਆਇਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਜੱਜਸ ਐਂਡ ਕਰਾਊਨ ਕਾਉਂਸਲ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕਰਨ ਐਂਡ ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੰਸੀਡਰ ਕਰਨ। ਕਈ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਮਸ ਨੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਰਿਵਰਸ ਓਨਸ ਮਤਲਬ ਬੇਲ ਹੋਰ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈਗੀ ਇਸ ਬਿੱਲ ਦੇ ਥੱਲੇ। ਇਹ ਰੈਕਮੈਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦੇ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਵੀ ਮਿਲੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਅਕ੍ਰੋਸ ਦ ਕੰਟਰੀ, ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸਿਸ ਦੇ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਵੀ ਮਿਲੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਰਲ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਇਸ 'ਤੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਹਾਂ। ਪਰ ਕੋਰਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਚਲਾਉਣਾ, ਜੱਜਸ ਨੂੰ ਹਾਇਰ ਕਰਨਾ, ਕਰਾਊਨ ਕਾਉਂਸਲ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਕੇਸਿਸ ਨਾ ਡਿਸਮਿਸ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਣ ਬਾਰ-ਬਾਰ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਸ ਵਕਤ ਕੇਸਿਸ ਡਿਸਮਿਸ ਹੋਈ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ।
That's exactly what my question was.
So even Mayor Brown wrote a letter about this as well. That only the province can solve. ਉਹ ਕੋਰਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, right? So ਇਹ ਆਪਦੇ discretion ਤੇ ਉਹ release ਕਰੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ. So you know we are working together. We're doing our part. ਜੋ ਸਾਤੋਂ ਮੰਗਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਕਈ ਸਾਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਹੋ ਵੀ ਆਹ ਕਰਨਾ ਕਰਨ. We've done it. ਕੁਛ ਹਫ਼ਤਿਆਂ ਤੱਕ I have a lot of high hopes that ਉਹ bill pass ਹੋ ਜਾਊਗਾ, and then the rest will be up to the province to do.
ਅੱਛਾ ਮੈਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਜੀ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਕੋਈ ਓਵਰ 40 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਵੇ ਲਗਾਇਆ ਹੈ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਉੱਤੇ ਕਿ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਮਸ ਘੱਟ ਹੋਣ, ਪੁਲਿਸਿੰਗ ਉੱਤੇ, ਔਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਵੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਕੜਿਆ ਜਾਏ, ਅੰਦਰ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਜਾਏ. ਬਟ ਦ ਥਿੰਗ ਇਜ਼ ਅਗੇਨ ਮੇਰਾ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਗਰ ਕਰਾਊਨ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਸ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਨੇ ਅਦਾਲਤ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ, ਅਗਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਬੱਚੇ ਹੀ ਤਿਆਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਜੱਜਸ ਹੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਨੇ, ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੇਸ ਲੜੇਗਾ ਕੌਣ? That is a big question.
Yeah, that's a provincial responsibility, and so ਜੋ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਕੋਰਟਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੇਸਿਸ ਲੜੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਡਿਵਾਈਡ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਇੱਥੇ jurisdictions, we look after immigration cases in the courts, we look after terrorism cases, we look after CRA tax issues, those are in federal courts. Asylum ਇੱਕ board ਦੇ tribunal ਦੇ ਮੂਰੇ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ, so it's a quasi court system, but yes, the federal government resources and puts the money in place for that. Jo tribunals provincial level te hege ne, that's like the landlord tenant board, right? That's a provincial tribunal. Kuch housing issues te mortgage brokers de jinnu nu regulate kar de, o provincial honde hege ya, and is tarah jehde apne criminal courts hege ne o provincial hege ne, and so o jehde faisle hege ya provincial judges, onna de justices of the peace and onna de crown councils ral mil ke o system nu chalaunde ਹੈਗੇ ਆ. And so that's why I said ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਮੰਗਾਂ ਸਾਤੋਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਗਈਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਮੰਗਾਂ ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਸ ਬਿੱਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੂਰੀਆਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਨੇ.
ਹਾਇਰਿੰਗ ਹੈ ਵੇ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ ਹਾਇਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਏ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ?
That's a provincial responsibility, so province will have to do their part now.
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕੀ ਮੰਗ ਪਾਈ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਿੱਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ?
ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਸੋ ਬਿੱਲ ਕੈਨ ਨਾਟ ਮੰਗ ਐਨੀਥਿੰਗ ਫਰਮ ਦ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ. ਇਹ ਕਨਵਰਸੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸਾਈਡ ਤੇ ਚੱਲਦੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਜੂਰਿਸਡਿਕਸ਼ਨ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਇੰਪੋਜ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ. ਸੋ ਇਹ ਕੋਰਟਸ ਚਲਾਉਣਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸਿਸ ਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, ਐਂਡ ਸੋ ਹੋਪਫੁਲੀ ਡਗ ਫੋਰਡ ਆਪਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰੀ ਸਮਝਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ. ਜੋ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰਸ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਏ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, obviously they're saying that they care very deeply about public safety, and so ਕੋਰਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਰਿਸੋਰਸ ਕਰਨਾ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਬਣਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਖਾਤੇ ਥੱਲੇ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, and hopefully they will do that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
देखिए ये सारे जो पीर पुलिस के चीफ्स रहे हैं उनकी ये सारी तस्वीरें हैं. इसके अलावा जो उनको मेडल्स दिए जाते हैं वो हैं, जो उनका इंसिग्निया है, उनके जो यानी कि जो लोगोज़ हैं वो जो हैं यहाँ पे सारे आप देख सकते हैं इस जगह के ऊपर. और उसके साथ ही हम अगर आगे जाएं तो जो विमेन इन पुलिसिंग है उसका बड़ा जो है हर वक्त जिक्र भी किया जाता है और उनको अप्रिशिएट किया जाता है. तो हम वो भी आपको दिखा रहे हैं, उनकी भी जो है यहाँ पे उन्होंने तस्वीर लगाई है. इसके अलावा जो आप देख सकते हैं कि और भी जो तस्वीरें ऊपर हैं, जो सिविलियन कपड़ों में लोग नज़र आ रहे हैं, क्योंकि सिविलियंस भी बहुत सारे जो हैं पुलिस फोर्स के लिए काम करते हैं. जैसे कि वो लोग स्विच बोर्ड्स पे बैठे होते हैं, जैसे कि और जो कंप्यूटिंग का जो सेक्शन है उसके अंदर होते हैं. आपको नज़र आएगी कि जो पुलिस के लड़के हैं वो हर वक्त गाड़ी में ना भी आपको अगर नज़र आए तो ये खूबसूरत सी जो मोटरसाइकिल आपको नज़र आ रही है इसके ऊपर आपको नज़र आएंगे, जो 1 मिनट में स्प्रिंट करके भाग के जाते हैं क्रिमिनल्स के पीछे उनको पकड़ने के लिए. तो ये है उनकी बहुत ही खूबसूरत सी जो है. लेकिन जो आप देख सकते हैं कि तस्वीरें इन्होंने गाड़ियों की भी लगाई हुई हैं यहाँ पे. तो जैसे पील पुलिस की जो गाड़ियाँ वो लोग यूज़ करते हैं वो किस तरह की होती हैं, उनके ऊपर क्या लोगोज़ लगे होते हैं, ये भी आपको नज़र आएंगे. इसके अलावा जो बहुत ज़्यादा ओवरडोज हो जाती है, आपको पता ही है कि ड्रग ओवरडोज हो जाती है, या जो इन्होंने जो ड्रंक ड्राइविंग कर रहे होते हैं उनका जो उन्होंने पता करना होता है कि जी ये ड्रंक ड्राइविंग करें, उसका भी ये देखें यहाँ पे सारा इक्विपमेंट पड़ा हुआ है. तो इट्स अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग प्लेस. तो ये देखें, ये कुछ तस्वीरें हैं यहाँ पे इन्होंने लगाई हुई हैं, ये पूरी इस वॉल के ऊपर ही, और इसमें उन्होंने बताया हुआ है कि इनके कुछ प्रोमिनेंट जो केसेस थे, लेकिन यानी कि प्रोमिनेंट केसेस का ये मतलब कि जो बड़े सेलिब्रिटी किस्म के केसेस थे, जो बहुत ज़्यादा जिनको मीडिया की जो है वो कवरेज मिली और मीडिया में बहुत ज़्यादा वो हेडलाइंस उन्होंने बनाई, ये हैं वो और कुछ आगे हैं, तो ये वो हैं। इसके अलावा तो आपको पता ही है कि पील पुलिस ऑन डे टू डे बेसिस बहुत सारे काम करती ही रहती है, बहुत सारे जो क्रिमिनल्स को पकड़ती है, लेकिन ये वो केसेस हैं जिनके के ऊपर पुलिस को बहुत टाइम लगा, बहुत इनको जो है प्रोब करना पड़ा, इन्वेस्टिगेट बहुत ज़्यादा करना पड़ा।